It would seem obvious that a rematch is right on the cards. Would you like to just rebook these guys as soon as Tom is able to get back in there?
Yeah, total pain in the ass, but yes. Great showing, shitty ending, you know? After the Jones fight, a lot of people wrote Cyril Gane off.
It's a bit of a weird question, right? It was ruled a no contest because of an unintentional eye poke. What does it take to make an eye poke intentional? And is there even a way you could ever prove that?
Who gives a shit?
So what do? I just walk away and say, let's fight. It's like you either want to or you don't. And my fight wasn't for a world title. I didn't have Cyril Gane in front of me throwing bombs. But the second that there was an issue, I knew that I wanted to continue, so I know what to say. You never say I can't see if you want to continue to fight. So when they ask the question, you just nod your head and you just walk away.
Oh, keeps eye poking, man. Once again, it's MMA. If somebody's coming at me and I go like this, it's my hands coming out. It's a natural reaction. It's a natural reaction.
It was a moment that shocked the entire fight world. Tom Aspinall, the reigning heavyweight champion, suddenly unable to continue after an eye poke from Cyril Gane, leading to an abrupt end to what was supposed to be one of the most anticipated heavyweight clashes in recent memory.
Sir, you were fighting a wonderful first round.
The fight had only just begun to take shape when chaos hit, and the reactions that followed were explosive, emotional, and filled with controversy from every side.
In my opinion, if you are winning a fight and you foul someone so bad the fight gets called off, no contest. If you are clearly losing a fight and you foul someone so bad that the fight gets called off, disqualification. That's honestly the only way I can see it ever being implemented correctly. Not was it intentional or was it not.
Right after the fight ended, all eyes shifted immediately to Dana White. He spoke shortly after the event, and even he seemed frustrated and disappointed at how everything unfolded. He admitted that the fight was building into something exciting, something fans could have talked about for years. Cyril Gane, who many people had written off after his loss to Jon Jones, came in looking sharp, confident, and ready to make a statement. And Tom Aspinall, known for his speed and precision, was gearing up for a strategic battle, but all of that ended with one accidental poke that changed everything.
Not a way we want to see a main event end, any fight end. Give us your reaction to the eye poke.
I mean, I feel the way everybody feels. Great showing, shitty ending, you know? After the Jones fight, a lot of people wrote Cyril Gane off. He looked damn good tonight. Looked like we were in for a few rounds and it's going to be a good fight.
Dana White made it clear right away that he understood the disappointment. He said the ending was messy and not something anyone wanted to see, and with all of that in mind, he made a decision he usually avoids making on fight night. He confirmed that a rematch between Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane is the fight that needs to happen next. He didn't hesitate. He believed the rematch was the only thing that made sense after such a controversial ending, and with the way the energy around the fight has now shifted, interest in the rematch has only gone up.
It would seem obvious that a rematch is right on the cards. Would you like to just rebook these guys as soon as Tom is able to get back in there?
Yeah, total pain in the ass, yes.
Have you got any medical update on Tom, or is it still too soon?
He's on his way to the hospital.
It's a bit of a weird question, right? It was ruled a no contest because of an unintentional eye poke. What does it take to make an eye poke intentional, and is there even a way you could ever prove that?
Who gives a shit? What are you gonna do?
I know we, tried to do new gloves before and that kind of didn't work out. Is there anything we can do to stop these eye pokes? Would you ever look at maybe trying to change the gloves again, or is it just part of the sport, just shit happens?
Yeah.
But the reactions from the crowd during the aftermath took things to another level. When the referee announced that Tom Aspinall could not continue, some fans began to boo. The atmosphere went from anticipation to confusion to frustration in seconds. Some viewers believed Aspinall should have kept fighting. They felt the fight had barely started. They didn't understand the seriousness of the injury, and that reaction built a narrative online quickly, accusing Aspinall of quitting.
You had a job to do, and you, for whatever reason, you guys did whatever you did and you didn't do your job. I'm not saying it's Tom's fault, and I'm not gonna, pretend that I know how bad it is or isn't. I think Chael made a poetic point that you have to be used to or willing to fight with one eye. I did it in Singapore. Everyone talks about it all the time, where the ladies waving stuff in front of my eyes. I can't see it. So what do? I just walk away and say, let's fight. It's like you either want to or you don't. And my fight wasn't for a world title. I didn't have Cyril Gane in front of me throwing bombs. But the second that there was an issue, I knew that I wanted to continue, so I know what to say. You never say, I can't see, if you want to continue to fight. So when they ask the question, you just nod your head and you just walk away.
That's when Daniel Cormier stepped in. Working the broadcast, Cormier strongly defended Tom. He reminded everyone watching that when a fighter cannot see out of their eye, the last thing they should do is continue fighting. One clean punch to a damaged eye could cause permanent vision loss. Cormier made it clear that Aspinall did what any fighter with a serious eye injury should do, and that the booing was unfair and uncalled for. He emphasized that fighters are already taking a massive risk every time they step into the cage. Nobody's going to quit when a world title is on the line unless the situation is truly dangerous.
Tom Aspinall got poked in the eye on both sides, and unfortunately people booed him. But Cyril Gane to that point was fighting a great first round. Granted, Tom was getting his in too, but it was a good first round. It was competitive, and it looked like we were watching the two best heavyweights in the world. I want to see them fight again as early as December, if we can. I know that November's done. Look at this. He got his fingers in both. And guys,
hey, look at that.
Look at the left eye.
That's so
But he
bad.
was actually, but it was the right eye that was bothering him more.
No. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
you're right.
it
It was the right eye that was,
Yeah.
but look at the left eye.
Yeah.
For them to boo him as if he did not want to fight is crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
crazy.
they might have been booing the result. more
Booing
than
the result, but they
booing
booed him both.
Demetrius Johnson also took time to break the moment down. He explained that in MMA, especially when fighters throw kicks and strikes, hands are often open during transitions. It's something that happens naturally in the sport. He made it clear that Cyril Gane did not poke Aspinall intentionally. He also noted that when an eye poke happens, the standard reaction should be to immediately cover the eye and avoid opening it.
Oh, keeps eye poking, man. Once again, it's MMA. If somebody's coming at me and I go like this, it's my hands coming out. It's a natural reaction. It's a natural reaction. That's one thing people don't understand. Like when you do Muay Thai, when you kick, you need your hands out. Even in the gloves, when I throw a kick, my hands are open inside the gloves. You know, I love how people are like, oh, there's so many eye pokes in MMA. Guys, my fucking hands are open. It looks like the other eye got more penetration than the one he's closing right now. And I also think when you keep your eye like this, you're not giving it a chance to actually let it like kind of like recess. The pressure on the eye is not always the best thing to do.
Johnson noted that in real time, when adrenaline is high and everything is happening within seconds, fighters don't always respond in ideal ways. Johnson also pointed out something many fans noticed as well. Gane was actually performing very well in those early exchanges. He managed distance effectively, landed clean strikes, and kept Aspinall off rhythm, and even though the fight had barely begun, you could see that Gane came in prepared.
When you get hurt in the eye, you don't want to look with your left eye. You want to close both your eyes and keep it there, because if I have my left eye and I'm like, what the f? That sucks ass. That sucks. He was fighting a wonderful fight. Like he was doing a good job turning the angles, not allowing Tom Aspinall to get across the void, do a combination. Right there, we can see that like that's how you can beat you can get Tom Aspinall troubles, is by always turning the angle on him, never give him the opportunity to run you over on a train. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate, but Cyril Gane was doing a good job. I mean, I was actually impressed how good Cyril Gane was going. So, boys.
Sean O'Malley gave his reaction too, and he echoed similar concerns. He said the poke looked serious, and he could tell right away that Aspinall wasn't able to continue. He also mentioned that Gane likely won the first round based on how the exchanges were going. Aspinall's nose was already bleeding, and Gane was controlling the pace. O'Malley acknowledged that the situation left no room for a fighter to just push forward blindly. The damage was real, clear, and dangerous.
Get poked in the eye. At first when I saw it, it didn't look that bad. Then they zoomed in real close up. Both eyes. He got fingered. 2 in the eyes. One of his fingers even went in his mouth. Oh, like, it was deep. Cyril Gane was looking so good in that first round. Tom Aspinall's nose was bleeding. Cyril was landing with that jab. I got a heavyweight. You go in there, and a lot of the times a heavyweight, you see guys not really engage too much because it takes one punch, especially from 2 big punches like that. And Tom was kind of pushed, like coming forward. Cyril was landing beautiful jabs, circling around. He won that round. Both those guys, for being heavyweight, can move so well on their feet. God, that was going to be such a sweet fight.
But the discussion didn't stop with the injury or the outcome. Michael Bisping brought up something much bigger. He focused on the rules that allowed a moment like this to happen. He was frustrated. He pointed out that the rule about a fighter keeping their fingers extended while striking is confusing. Fighters know that they cannot poke someone intentionally, but the rule still allows hands to be open for parrying.
Of course it was a disaster, an absolute fiasco. They've got to do something about these eye pokes. The rule is you got to have your hands like this, but you can still have your fingers out straight. You can't do that, you can do that. That's the stupidest rule I've ever seen in my life. Make a fist. Simple as that. You're throwing punches, and yeah, you got to parry shots, but you just got to unbend your fingers. It's really not that hard. This is a stupid rule. Your fist should be closed, or almost kind of closed, not tightly.
According to him, the rule sounds clear on paper, but in live fighting with speed, timing, pressure, and movement, it becomes incredibly difficult to maintain perfect form. Bisping argued that the solution is simple. Make fighters close their fists unless grappling. If hands are always closed when striking, accidental pokes become far less frequent. He felt this was one of the few rule changes that could dramatically reduce incidents like this, and he was firm that something needs to change.
Anyway, main thing is that his vision's going to be okay. Fingers crossed, we hope. Probably will. Hopefully it's just, you know, a bit of temporary vision loss. Maybe it's just a scratched cornea or something like that. That remains to be seen. What makes it extra frustrating for everyone involved, obviously there's all the circumstances leading into it. There's the time that Tom's waiting for this moment and all the rest of it. But it was shaping up to be a tremendous fight. You know, I mean, that fight was brilliant. They went at each other. They went toe to toe. Ciryl Gane was standing his ground. He wasn't dancing around. He wasn't trying to avoid the fight. He wasn't trying to make it boring. He was happy to stand there and happy to trade. He defended the takedowns as well. It was really looking like a tremendous fight.
Meanwhile, online conversations exploded. Fans, analysts, fighters, and journalists all debated what the outcome meant for the division. And just when the discussion seemed focused solely on the eye poke and the rematch, the situation took another unexpected turn.
Like, you find a way to get away from the doctor. If you want to fight, you can fight.
My trainer, Coach Clayton, when we'd be practicing, every now and then he would yell out to the whole room, "Close your left eye." And then he'd, open your left eye, close your right eye later. He'd say, "Don't breathe through your nose anymore, breathe through your mouth." And the idea was, if your eye gets swollen and it gets shut, or if your nose gets clogged and you can't breathe, that you're kind of used to these things. Tom said something, and look, we got to dwell on a guy in a really bad moment, but to dwell on him, he said, I got poked in the eye, I can't see. If you got poked in the eye and you're injured, we have a totally different conversation. If you get poked in the eye and you can't see, generally in our sport, that's just something you've got to push through.
Alex Pereira entered the conversation. He posted publicly suggesting that the heavyweight division needed something fresh, something exciting, something historic. He expressed interest in stepping into the division and doing something special. The idea alone was enough to stir the fight world, and Pereira wrote on Instagram, "Let's make the heavyweight division great again."
Okay. Faz parte do jogo, acontece.
But what actually and really intensified the moment was what happened next. Jon Jones responded directly. He acknowledged Pereira's call out and said he would be interested in facing him. He respected ambition. He liked the idea of testing the highest skill levels against one another. Whether or not that fight actually happens, the possibility of it was enough to send shockwaves through the division. Jones responded on X, "Alex, I'd be down to bring the highest skill level to the White House. I appreciate the respect you showed. Let's dance." That led to a situation where the heavyweight division suddenly had 3 different storylines happening at the same time. Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane now have unfinished business. Their rematch is more anticipated than the first fight because now there is controversy, emotion, frustration, and a lingering sense of what could have been. At the same time, Alex Pereira stands on the outside looking in, hinting at a massive move. And Jon Jones, the fighter who has dominated multiple eras, now has another potential challenger watching him.
As you know, as I know, as I think everyone in the sport knows, he knows exactly what it means when he's telling a referee that he can't see. Fight's going to get called. And so I think Tom knew that it was bad immediately. Unfortunately, man, 5 minutes ain't going to fix that. So I think we all kind of knew what was going to happen pretty quickly. And look, this has never happened in UFC history. There's never been a title fight that's ended in a no contest due to an eye poke. So it was going to happen at some point, but did it have to happen now when we've been waiting to see Tom Aspinall for so freaking long after all the Jon Jones stuff? Like, this is the one where it has to happen. It just sucks. Sucks for everybody. Sucks for me and you. Sucks for everyone over there. Sucks for the guys involved. I hate it.
The ending at UFC 321 was disappointing, shocking, and frustrating, but it also made the division more unpredictable than ever. Tom Aspinall now has to recover and prepare for a rematch that will come with pressure, expectation, and eyes watching every detail. Cyril Gane now has the chance to prove that the early success he showed in the first fight wasn't accidental. He has an opportunity to rewrite the narrative that formed after his loss to John Jones. And fans, analysts, and the entire MMA world will be waiting to see what adjustments both men make when they face off again.
They booed Tom Aspinall, and Tom goes, "What are you booing me for?" And then when they saw the eye poke, they booed him a little less and then booed Cyril. It was crazy.
I'm just sick to my stomach about all this. The amount of time that Tom has waited. To have his name called undisputed champion in the octagon. And what we saw from Cyril tonight was telling a different story than everybody thought coming in. Obviously, we don't know how the fight was going to play out, but he was looking
We had a fight.
Good.
We had a fight.
Real fight.
Cyril was aggressive. He didn't back up, and Tom was loving it. That's what I like the most. Tom is smiling like, yo, this is what I've been waiting for. Someone to actually fight me. Hey, man, if this dude's eye is good, put him in this. I want to see these dudes fight.
The rematch is no longer just a title fight, it's now tied to pride, controversy, and something personal. The first fight was supposed to determine who stood at the top of the heavyweight mountain. Second fight will decide something deeper, who responds when everything goes wrong, who adapts under pressure, and who carries the identity of a champion when the world is watching. The heavyweight division might feel cursed at times, but one thing is certain. Everyone will be watching when Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane step into the cage again. And now, everything comes down to what happens next. The rematch will decide who truly sits at the top of the heavyweight division. And there will be no excuses, no confusion, and no unanswered questions this time. Until then, the debate continues. If you want more breakdowns, reactions, and deep dives into the biggest fights in combat sports, make sure you're locked in right here. This is Ring Rivalry, where real fight fans come to stay ahead of the game. Hit that subscribe, drop your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one.